Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more Lifeline gameplay on the iPad. Last episode, we had Taylor go back to bed. He's hunkered down inside of a derelict spacecraft. Something woke him up in the middle of the night. Something, we don't know what it is yet, but he says he turned around and peeked down the corridor and saw tons of little glowing things walking around the floor, so I'm a little nervous for Taylor. But another 45 minutes, so a total of around 8.5 to 9 hours have gone by since he's been sleeping in the spaceship. Taylor has awoken. Morning, which means it's time to rise and shine, so I'm rising, and I'm definitely shining, he says. So right off the bat, I'm happy. He's alive, nothing happened to him. I was really getting worried. 4.5, almost 5 hours, actually 5 hours have gone by, and I haven't heard from Taylor. And I just was worried after him seeing whatever that was in the hallway. I was worried that it got it to him in the middle of the night and we would have lost connection to him. By which I mean I'm feeling like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining, intensely cold and more than a little crazy. And again, not trying to be gross here, I've gotten the absolute worst taste in my mouth and my saliva is green. Last night I slept indoors rather than out and nowhere near a radiation source. This has got to be something atmospheric and byproduct of whatever I'm inhaling. I wished I knew what. Breakfast. That's what normal people eat in the mornings. And despite being stranded in deep space, I want to just do as many normal things as possible. And of course, a jet wants to fly by. Sorry about that. So, like a normal person, I'm just going to chow down on rat pellets and stale water. The breakfast of champions. Oh man, I've really got to see if I can get into that Caravel's galley today. I guess that should be my mission after I choke down this hearty meal, huh? No, I think we should give it a shot. Alright, that's the spirit. Let's just wash down the last of these few kernels of lab food and then it's galley time. I already know I can't shimmy through the crack in the door, but I also know there was stuff falling out of the cabinets in there, so I have an idea. If I can find enough spare parts among the junk in the ship, I should be able to fashion some sort of reaching pole, and it won't be too difficult to make a simple grabbing claw that I can trigger from my end. Give me a few minutes to root around here, and I'll see what I can come up with. Alright, well, apparently he's going to root around and get some more parts and stuff to try and grab himself a reaching pole. So we are going to pause it here, give him a few minutes, and then when we come back, hopefully he has something that can grab some of those MREs that we saw on the floor in there. So we shall be right back. Alright, so Taylor has returned. That took about an hour, by the way. Alright, so it took him about an hour. My reaching stick is done. That's with capital letters because this is obviously a $1 million idea. It's amazing how many $1 million ideas you come up with when you're stranded in space, where $1 million is useless. I've already banged up my shoulder, so why not strain it to the breaking point by shoving it as far through the door as it'll still go, huh? Alright, reach and stick. Let's start reaching. Steady. Steady. Crap. Was not steady enough. Alright, slowly but surely, I've got the claw on either side of something shiny and silver and presumably edible. Here it comes. Don't drop it. Do not drop it, you clumsy dropper, you! Ah, yes. Oh my god, I did it. I went fishing and caught myself a chicken pesto pasta. Part of me wants to tear into this right now, but maybe I should keep grabbing meal packs until I have a sizable stash. I told him to go ahead and eat it. You've earned it. The dude's been living on rat pellets, so I went ahead and just told him to eat it. Wow, this chicken pesto pasta is terrible. It's also probably the single greatest thing I've eaten in my entire life. I remember Colby mentioning that these meal packs had a shelf life of 5 years before they got thrown out, assuming they were stored in a cool, dry place, that is. Doesn't get much cooler or drier than a desert moon. Ha! According to this one's code, it was packed 4 months from now, obviously a misprint. but it robs me of a clue in my very amateur detective work. I have one less way of knowing when the ship was supplied. So how long has this caravel been sitting here, gathering dust, I wonder? So I could have either have had him check the logs or just put it out of mind. I just told him, just don't worry about it. Put it out of mind, buddy. He says, I guess there's some wisdom to that. I mean, I might not like what I turn up. I can't imagine there's any answer that would particularly be comforting. Besides, with all the computer systems smashed, it'd be pretty hard to find out anything. Even if I can recover the black box, I have no way to read it, unless someone kept a handwritten record for fun, which isn't protocol. I'm kind of at a loss here. I guess there's not much I can do, but keep fishing for MREs in the galley. Carefully, and just nabbed a teriyaki beef. And just beyond that is Ratatouille? I have to admit, I have no idea what Ratatouille is outside of the Pixar movie. Could this be freeze-dried, CGI animated rat? I guess I'll find out. And I chose it's stewed veggies, dummy. Or I could have said, yes, it's CGI rat. Huh, yeah, I guess that's sort of what this tastes like. Although it equally tastes like computer-animated rodent, so now I'm not sure what to believe. And then he went busy again. About another 20 minutes have gone by. Alright, finished with breakfast, such as it was. Beggars can't be choosers, all that. The way I see it, today is all about reaching that peak. I have to hope that my inability to get to it yesterday was just a combination of exhaustion and optical illusion. With food in my belly and the full day ahead of me, I'm liking my odds a lot better today. I also like knowing that this caravel and the little generator are waiting for me on my return trip to the Varia. That'll allow me to power the gun turret on a slim chance that there really is something else out here besides me. So what do you think? Figure I can make it to the peak today? Your choices were yes, go for it, or I sincerely doubt it. I said, what the heck, man, let's go for it. He was pretty beat up and exhausted yesterday, so we're going for it. Yes, I'm with you. I've trekked too far in this mystery not to find out its answer. I'm just going to pack up a few munchies and stow the guinea someplace safe. Then I'll get on my way. I'll message you when I'm heading out. Alright, so about another 20 minutes have gone by, and he says, stuck my head out of the caravel and caught what was honestly one of the most impressive sunrises I've ever witnessed. That sun being Tau Ceti, and not good old Sol, but still, I'm going to go ahead and count it. So, first of all, let's just be impressed that I was up and at him before first light. That hasn't happened in, ever. And second, I should mention that I could see that weird green corona around the peak again, that sort of soft glow. The light, like the shape of the peak itself, is just a few degrees away from natural looking. It weirds me out. Weirds me out is the technical scientific term for it. Look it up. From the Latin for icky, yucky, squicky. Oh, and last but not least, I've noticed that my IEVA suit's compass is acting all icky, yucky, squicky. It doesn't change correctly in concert with my movements. Sometimes it just spins, other times it just stays firmly in place. Maybe there's something weird about this wreckage that affects polarity. I don't know. I guess I don't really need it for hiking to the peak. So long as I have got line of sight, it shouldn't be a problem to get there. Bet I could spend a few minutes and cobble one together from spare parts before I take off. Hike without a compass? Or no, dude, no. Build yourself a compass. Please, don't get lost. Hey, alright. This should almost be fun. Maybe I should put fun in quotes. It's a pretty nerdy version of fun, if I were being honest. The medkit had a couple of needles in it, so that's easy enough. I've done this before with a bowl of water, but it's not like I'm going to balance one of those while walking and I'm hiking all day. But really, the important thing is just the compass face is able to float frictionless while it spins. So instead, I'm going to do a variation where the compass face is balanced on like a pushpin or a brad, something like that. Of course, the most important part of making any compass is finding a magnet, preferably a rare earth magnet. But fortunately, I'm up in the flight deck, so there's a whole bank of computers that aren't using their hard drives right now. A little bit of gentle disassembly, by which I mean I'm going to smash the living crap out of them with whatever's handy. And I'll have the magnets out of those drives and rubbed onto these needles in no time. And Taylor is busy. All right, guys. Well, Taylor's going to be crafting up some compasses before we hike out for the day. Hope you guys enjoy the next edition of Lifeline. When we come back, we're going to head out hiking for the day in hopes that we can make it to the peak. We'll see you when Taylor returns.